Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is Easily Knitfluenced. I'm back from vacation. My hair looks nice today and I'm filled with inspiration for fall knitting. So today we are going to talk about what's inspiring me for fall. Not necessarily a list of things I will make, but a list of things that I wish I could make if I had all the time in the world and didn't have other things to do with my life. So just to be clear, you might see some of these as whips coming up, but probably not all of them. So before we get started, I do have a finished object. I will talk about this at length in my next regular podcast episode where I give you updates on my projects, but this is the Lacy Loops tee by Other Loops. I'll put some pictures in, B-roll, etc., so you guys can see what it looks like full length, but suffice it to say, this is an awesome pattern. I love this. I'm kind of not regretting. I wish I'd done this in maybe a slightly more neutral color because then I could have worn it every day. This is very bright. This is in Pink Daisies, which is a Knitting for Olive silk color, and I held it double. So this might be one that I redo and remake in another color because it's so comfortable. It is like the perfect summer top. And so of course I have finished it at the end of August when the weather's starting to cool down. So my timing is always impeccable. But anyway, with all that said, I want to talk about fall. So fall to me, I live in New York. It's not freezing yet, so I am looking for things that are cozy but not gigantic and bulky, cozy but not suffocatingly hot. So some of these things might be kind of cuspy, like it might be sort of for late fall, but you'll sort of see, I think, from my vision board, so-called, if you look at my Ravelry page collection for this, you might kind of see the direction I'm heading in. It's a much more cozy vibe than some of the stuff I've been working on over the summer. So without further ado, let us jump straight into it. Starting off strong here, this is the Maude Sweater by Cheryl Mokhtari, and be still, my beating heart. When she first posted pictures of this, I think it was still in TheKnittingPaige, she put them up on Instagram, and I was smitten. This is absolutely beautiful. I want this exact sweater, as in the one that she is wearing in the picture. I probably can't buy it from her, so that does mean I will have to buy the yarn that this is made out of. So this is I think this is a DK weight pattern. It says it's fingering, but it says light fingering plus lace. And the suggested yarn, I'm going to butcher Sislerget, deluxe lace, and cashmere sock. So that is a light fingering and a lace held together. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I am guessing from the name that this is a European yarn, so I don't rate my chances of being able to get it as an individual very highly, since a lot of the companies are now having issues with the tariff regime that the United States has imposed. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that my local yarn store has some of this. If not, this might get backburnered because I want this color. I want this exact color. It's so beautiful. But yeah, to talk a little bit more about this pattern, it is what I like most in a pattern, which I think it has different chunks and different sections and kind of, it's got some lace, it's got some columns, it's got a little bit of seed stitch. And I feel like that is when I seem to fly through my knitting the most, when there are little things basically breaking up the monotony. Not that I don't love a stockinette project, but it's just beautiful. It is gorgeous. And it is a little airy, I think, because it does have that big lace panel in the front. So that's nice. For me, perfect for fall because, again, this fall weather in New York is a little funny. Sometimes it's freezing and other days it's, it could be 80 degrees outside during like lunchtime hours. So you need something that breathes a little bit. And I think this is perfect. It's beautiful, beautiful. I put this on my list as soon as she put those pictures up, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. I just need that yarn. I need that exact yarn. I would even settle for, I think, just whatever the marled yarn is, whether that's the mohair or the other one, and maybe find a sub for the other yarn, but I want this exact combo. So pretty. Okay, next up. This is color work, and I think probably a little bulkier and maybe a little heavier. This is the Northern Augustines number 7 by Anne-Sophie Velling. I would kind of knit anything by her, frankly. If you look through her catalog of patterns, I think they are all stunning. But this one is my favorite out of all of them. I can't remember who was knitting this. somebody was, and they said good things about the pattern. But anyway, the color work on this is exquisite. I mean, truly, truly exquisite. This is a DK weight pattern, 22 stitch gauge. Looks like the suggested yarn is Hillesvåg. So again, we'll probably have to sub that out for something. But it is quite an oversized sweater. This says it has positive ease approximately 30 centimeters. That's 12 inches. That's a lot. But, you know, I could probably size down in this, I think, if I didn't want it to be too massive. But what I want to do is not the light blue. I want a more fall toned palette. So I think I would stick with that cream color as the main color, and then do like a rusty brown or something. Or maybe even a coffee brown for the color work. I think could look stunning. I'm just going to see if there's any projects that have that. Not really. Okay. I could be the first. There's people who've done the opposite, have done like a brown and then white for the color work, but no, I want the brown as the color work. Beautiful. So this again, I was a little slow to kind of figure out who she was. I think she didn't come on my radar for a really long time, but I love everything she's ever put out. So I would love for this to be kind of my entryway project to her patterns because it's beautiful. So this might be kind of a later fall project if I cast this on. Okay, here's something a little unusual for me, I think. So this is the Waffle loop sweater dress by Other Loops. I just saw a video by Paige Knitting, what's her name? TheKnittingPaige, I think. I'll write the exact name of her channel down and I'll link the video as well. She also had this on her fall inspiration. I have never felt the desire to knit a knit dress because for me, knit dresses are a little dicey. I'm tall, so first of all, it's a big project, but also I'm tall, I'm quite curvy, I have broad shoulders, broad hips, but then a narrow waist. So the shaping on all of those things felt quite intimidating for me. But this looks like almost like a tunic, which could work out quite well. Like I think if I lengthen this a little, it could just be a drapey kind of dress with leggings or thick tights underneath, which could work very well. So this is interesting for me. It's an Aran weight, 16 stitches per 4 inches. Looks like knit on a US 9 or 10, so that helps with the length of the project. And work top to bottom. So yeah, a lot to like here too. There's a lot of different patterns, a lot of cables, a lot of texture. I mean, I'm really loving it. I guess my one concern for this would be, and I see it a little bit in these pictures, is the weight of all this yarn, especially with the cabling and the textures. You can see the shoulder kind of portion on that sample picture, like it's pulling down on her shoulder. So I would wonder if you could do this in like a blown yarn, maybe something that's light, but would give you the, the gauge, because I think doing this in kind of a regular way, DK plus a fingering might just be a little overwhelmingly heavy. Yeah, I don't know, but it is a lovely pattern, and I love Other Loops. This is, proof positive. Other Loops is great, so I know they know how to write a good pattern. It's just a question of what yarn exactly I would use for this. But it is gorgeous and very inspiring to look at. Okay, this is just cute, and this has been on my list for a while. This is the Nocturnal Jumper by Saskia & Co. I think Saskia & Co. used to be the Petite Knitter. I'm not 100% sure about that. But this is just adorable, and I think it's so cute. And I love all the color combos. I love the gray one she has posted with the kitty. I love the orange ones. Adorable. This is a worsted, so, that could work well. 18 stitch gauge, US 8 suggested needle size, and looks like it's knit top down in the round. It is a circular yoke, so, that's a bit of a challenge. I don't love a circular yoke, but I could make an exception for the kitty cat pattern. I don't know, but it is very, very cute. And I know if I had this in my wardrobe, I would for sure pull it out every fall and, take my family pictures in it or something. It's very, very cute. So I do want this. I think I'd probably lean more towards the brown coloring, I think, but it's so cute. It's really cute. And maybe this is, I don't know, good practice for circular yoke. I might venture back into that. I don't know. My experience hasn't been great so far, but maybe I just didn't have the right pattern. Okay, moving along to something quite basic, but I've had this on the list for a while too, and the reason I'm putting it on here is something I want is, this is the Elizabeth blouse by Petite Knit. So plain, right? This has been out for a couple of years, nothing new here. It is not a new pattern, but it is a very wearable pattern. I think it is, the collar is not something I've done before. I think it's very pretty, but the reason I'm interested in this is one of her suggested yarns for this is Cardiff Cashmere Classic. And I saw from I want to say a Facebook ad, I saw that they now have tweedy colors, which I'll post some pictures here as well. This top in some tweedy colors, can you imagine? Imagine the possibilities, guys. This could be absolutely, I mean, it's already beautiful in the plain blue, but in a little tweed thrown in there, so in my head, I was kind of combining those two things, and I thought, ooh, that could be really, really nice for a fall knit. Gorgeous. So yeah, this has been bumped up my list a little bit just because I saw that yarn picture. So that's how my brain works sometimes. All right, here's an accessory, which I don't usually put on these, but there's something about this constellation thing that really tickled my pickle. So this is the Cassiopeia Hat by Anna Herman Sorensen. And it's just a really cute cabled hat, triple folded brim, so it'll be nice and warm for those colder evenings. And it has a constellation embroidered on it. I have not done embroidery since I was maybe 10 or 11. And I did a lot of cross stitch. So I never did proper embroidery, where you kind of learn all the different stitches and stuff. So this I feel like could be good and somewhat low-key practice, or low stakes practice rather, that, doesn't require all too much thinking. It's very cute, and I love a cabled hat. I've got lots of scrap yarn. I think that could work for this. And this is, let's see, it's an Aran 19 stitch gauge. So yeah, and I think that, let's see, the suggested yarns include Kemeros Snefnug. So yeah, kind of a thicker yarn. This is really, really cute, and I think would be so snuggly for the colder evenings and mornings and stuff when I walk around outside. But yeah, I think Cassiopeia as well. It's just a lovely name. All right, we are heading into Texture Town now. This is the Shine Bobble Sweater by Sally Knit. Look at the back of that. So you can tell, like, directionally, right? I'm definitely feeling the texture, the cables, all the fall stuff. So this is a worsted weight pattern, 17 stitch gauge. Suggested needle sizes are US 9 and a 7. And this is pretty much two big panels of cables, front and back, and then looks like moss or seed stitch on the sides. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool. I love that green too. The like slightly lighter than mossy green. It's a beautiful color. I think you could probably get that knitting for Olive. I forget what color it is. It's not the clover green. It's the other one. There's another green that looks exactly like this. This has been on my list again for a long, long, long time. I had to really dig back into my favorites list to find this, but it's beautiful. Whew. So what else can I say about this? Good amount of positive ease, 15 to 25 centimeters. And yeah, that's about all it says really, but I love this. It's beautiful and so fall inspired. More texture, and this is another one that I've had on my list for forever, probably since it came out. This is the Grove by Julie Hoover. And okay, so the suggested yarn here is Pearl Soho Season Alpaca, which I have a whole ton of. I'm not going to use that because alpaca makes me itch. So I would not use that yarn. This says sport weight. I've used the Season Alpaca, and I'll say that's a solidly DK yarn. So I might have to kind of rethink what I would make this out of, but it's really cool. It's like kind of interlocking cape. I don't know, just a really cool cable pattern, and then all over seed stitch for the rest of the pattern. Awesome. I love this. Now here's a little wrinkle though. It is worked flat in pieces from the bottom up and then sewn together. So I've done this before. I don't mind knitting flat, just my gauge can sometimes, like my sizing can sometimes be a little off when I do that. I mean, perversely, I kind of like sewing pieces of knitting together. I find it very satisfying. So This could be one, if I find the right yarn, this could be one I cast on, because I really think I need the right, the right sport weight. I wouldn't want to do double strand for this. Probably single strand, something like between a sport and a DK. More cables. The Geiger by Nora Gone. I mean, this mustard color is just giving me life. But this is, again, it's cables, but sort of more braided looking, if I had to compare to the other pattern. And it is a cardigan, but kind of an interesting one, because the buttons are sort of high up, and then the bottom, I guess, would be like a little more split looking. So it almost looks like a blazer, but knit. Very interesting styling. So there's a bunch of Brooklyn tweed that are suggested yarns, so I think I could get those if I needed to. DK weight, 23 stitch, that I love that. US 5 needle, speak in my language. And let's see, this is, oh yeah, it says, ornately cabled and beautifully tailored, this cardigan is inspired by Tyrolean jackets, inviting a full spectrum of styling choices. Very cool. And again, this one is worked in separate pieces from the bottom up and then sewn together. So there's 2 here that need to be sewn together, but I don't necessarily mind that. Again, it is it's really beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. I just don't know. I mean, I love the mustard, but then a blazer, dark colors for a blazer are kind of nice. This could look great in a green too. Like a moss green. Yeah. I don't know. This one is harder to envision me wearing this, I think, because I have lots of blazers, I have lots of cardigans, I don't have anything that's both. So I'm trying to picture what this would look like in what colors. So kind of nebulous picture at the moment, but I love the concept. Okay, this one is, oldie but a goodie. This is the Jenny Jacket V-neck. I love the whole Jenny collection from Petite Knit. I think the smock stitch is such a pretty pattern, and I love the jacket idea. So this is a worsted weight pattern, 30 stitches in the the smock stitching. So I really want this, but I've been following the journey of one of the twins who knit here on YouTube, and she's been doing, I think not this one, but maybe the crew neck version, one of the Jennies. And I think she's redone it at this point 4 or 5 times because of various issues. Like one was with the gauge, one was with the yarn, and then I think she was doing the sleeves and the cuff was so tight that it was basically skin tight on her. And they look like pretty slim girls. So she basically ripped it all out, started over multiple times, and I think it's on track now, but I am a little intimidated by this for that reason. Maybe not, maybe unfairly. But I mean, looking at this, it does look like it should have a good amount of positive ease. I mean, the sample pictures don't look like they're sort of skin tight, so I don't know if it was just that version. This says 15 to 20 centimeters or 6 to 8 inches of positive ease. Quite a lot. So this might be a kind of, I'll have to just start it and see. But yeah, I love it, but I'm a little scared just because of what I've heard from them. Okay, here's a really beautiful one. The Caia Pullover by Enda Taylor. Now, at first sight, you think, okay, it's just sort of a pullover with a pocket on the front, but no, that color work goes all the way around the back. And see, this is something, I'm not a huge floral person, but when it's very geometric this way, I tend to find it more appealing than, say, for example, it just got released. Leanit just released the Rose pullover. I love her color work, but that just does not appeal. That style of floral doesn't really appeal to me. This does, though, because to me, this is more like, it's like tiles, it's geometric. And I love this kind of pocket turn, like kind of like curls around your hip to make a pocket detail. It's very cool. This is a sport weight pattern, gauge of 28 stitches. So probably a little more work. What does it suggest? Suggested yarn is the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Spinster's Daughter. That's a lot of S's. I've never used Farmer's Daughter before. I know Casey really likes that yarn from Young Folk Knits. She knits with them a lot. They do look beautiful. I don't really know anything about it though. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think it is a US-based yarn company, so should hopefully be pretty easy to get. But this is so cool, I think. And again, it doesn't look too big, bulky, heavy, so it theoretically should be good for a kind of a crisp fall day that maybe gets a little warmer in the afternoon. And you have a handy pocket there for whatever you want to put in there. Okay, last but not least, this is also very funky. The Aallot, hopefully that's correct, by Maria Uzquiano. I don't even know how to describe this. This is like, it's sort of everything in one. It is, it's a cardigan, are these cables? Or, there's color work on the sides, but not all over. Let's see what it actually says. Wavy texture pattern. Oh, it's just combining knits and purls. Interesting. And then you do duplicate stitches for the color work. I've never done duplicate stitches before. I'm sure it's not that hard, but how do you, does it tell you where to put the stitches? I suppose it does. Anyway, I love this. This to me looks like cherry blossoms falling, which I know is not fall, that is strictly spring, but I don't care. It's a cardigan. It is still kind of fall adjacent, I suppose. I'm just trying to see if anyone has done this in different colors. I mean, honestly, I really like this sort of wheat color. And maybe I wouldn't do red and pink for the little duplicate stitches, maybe more of a fall patterning. So yellows and oranges, perhaps, but it's really unique. I don't think I've seen anything like this before, so I love it. It's really cool. And the suggested yarn is, oh, it's Sandnesgarn Peer Gynt. Interestingly, I have never knit with this before. I feel like it's the staple for, like, everybody loves that yarn, right? And there's a zillion different colors of it, so it's awesome. I've touched it before. It's a little on the rougher side to the touch, but I have heard that with blocking and washing, it does really soften out a lot. And again, the roughness, I don't mind roughness necessarily. What I do mind is like that heavy, dense itchiness like you get with alpaca. So I don't think this would bother me. But yeah, I do know that my local yarn store doesn't carry Peer Gynt anymore. So I would have to find somewhere else to take a look at some colors in person. But it is very pretty. And it might be a good opportunity to just try that yarn because I feel like everybody loves it. And they must be onto something. There's a reason it's such a favorite, right? So I will have to take a look at this. But that's it, guys. These are all the things that are inspiring me for fall. Let me know down in the comments below what is inspiring you guys. I feel very refreshed and sort of ready to start new things after I came back from my vacation where I didn't knit at all. So yeah, more cool stuff to come. I'll be back with a regular podcast episode soon. But in the meantime, thank you as always for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye-bye for now.